Perhaps people who voted yes on Prop 8 knew and loved gay people, Cooper suggested. Suggested, mind you. But they draw the line at marriage. Their hearts are pure, he said, but they still believe that this is profound. This could portend to some social consequence that are not good ones. He continued, however we assess it, there are the risk. We want to wait. We want to see what happens in Massachusetts. We want to see what happens here and in other places. Okay. A, you're speculating that at least some people who voted for Proposition 8 may have known and loved gay people. I can guarantee you that anyone who actually knows a gay person and, likes them, let alone loves them, is smarter than you. They understand the difference between their own marriage and gay marriage. They understand that the two are not going to interconnect in any way whatsoever. They understand that it should be perfectly fine for gay couples to get married. And I seriously doubt that any single one of those voters in California that voted for Proposition 8 truly know any homosexuals, let alone love any of them. And the second part here, they want to wait to see what happens in Massachusetts and in other places that have already adopted gay marriage. You cannot take a wait-and-see approach with this case, Cooper. You cannot take the concept of gay marriage, put it in one specified location, like Massachusetts or D.C., wait 20, 30 years to see how that goes, and if things go well, then, okay, then we'll consider it now. No, you can't do that. If gay marriage was legalized all over the nation, which it should be, you're going to have certain areas of the country that the majority of the population may not be okay with due to their own morals or their own religious beliefs. But again, morals and values, these go on a single person scale. They should not in any way, shape, or form be written into law and have that law be dominated, over the entire course of people. Again, going back to the majority dominating the minority. And I'm going to a different article here written by Evan Wolfson. Losing an argument over marriage, anti-gay forces pound the table. So, at this point in time, the Proposition 8 people realize that they're losing the battle because they haven't shown any proof to anything. In fact, Chief Judge Vaughn Walker asked Charles Cooper what would be the harm in permitting gay men and lesbians to marry. Cooper replied, "Your Honor, my answer is, I don't know. I don't know." That right there is part of the entire basis of the case. No one on the Proposition 8 side has any answer to showing what would go wrong, what would be the harm in permitting gay and lesbians to marry. The truth is that there isn't any. And the smart people know this. And so, Cooper, if you're really trying to defend these Proposition 8 people and say, these have the right idea, but yet you cannot bring up any sort of logical reasoning as to why gays and lesbians can't get married, you shouldn't be in this case. This trial should not be going on because Proposition 8 should not have passed. There's no logical right for this to be going on. So, as Americans have begun to see the reality in the District of Columbia as well as Massachusetts, Iowa, Canada, Spain, South Africa, and I had to write this in the margins because it just happened recently over the last month or so, Argentina. These are all places that have ended exclusion from marriage. I'm going to repeat a few of those areas. Canada, Spain, South Africa, and Argentina. We have third world countries kicking our ass in civil rights. There's something wrong with this picture. Why is it that America is not able to get their collective heads out of their own ass and realize that gay marriage really only influences the gay and lesbian population, not their own? Other countries see this. Fucking South Africa sees this. Why can't we? Basically, the article just sums up what I've been trying to say the whole along, that there's no logical reasoning for Prop 8 to pass at all. Judges issued closing questions for the Proposition 8 trial. The plaintiffs are asked what the significance would be if the trial evidence shows that Mormon, Roman Catholic, and evangelical churches participated in the Proposition 8 election campaign in an attempt to enforce private morality. The defenders of the Proposition 8 are asked, why is legislating based on moral disapproval of homosexuality not tantamount to discrimination? Take those two questions in. Okay. I have another article here, Closing Arguments in Landmark Prop 8 Trial. Okay. Olson, one of the lawyers for the gay lesbian side here, said, you would have to explain it in some statement of allowing these other individuals we represent here today to engage in the institution of marriage would somehow stop people from getting married or cause them to get divorced, he said. Which Cooper has not been able to do, and the entire 12 days that this trial went on. Finally here, last article. I got this from the original Inside Bay Area news group. Federal judge strikes down California's ban on same-sex marriage. Of course, naturally, the Prop 8 people don't like that. So in the meantime, supporters of Prop 8 vowed to appeal Judge Walker's order, and the backers of the court paper said that the stay of Walker's ruling is essential to averting harms that would flow from another proposed window of same-sex marriage in California. Jeez, you know, you'd think if there was any harm in allowing same-sex marriage when it first started in the state of California, people of Proposition 8 and Cooper would have brought this up to the attention of the judge during a trial. And yet, they have nothing. I wonder why that could be. Maybe it's because they had no proof that something bad had happened, or that anything bad would happen. And I'm glad Judge Walker saw right through them, because in his 138-page ruling, he said Proposition 8 fails to advance any rational basis in singling out gay men and lesbians for denial of marriage license. Again, Proposition 8 fails in advancing any rational basis for denying gays and lesbians to marry. Proposition 8 people are, of course, angry because they believe that the voter initiative should have been just fine. That the stroke of his pen, Judge Walker has overruled the votes and values of 7 million Californians who voted for marriage as one man and one woman, said Brian Brown. Yeah, the votes were 52 to 48 in favor of Proposition 8. And you're saying that 7 million voters voted for Proposition 8. And Judge Walker struck down their values. What about the values of the other near, if not over 7 million people of the 48% that didn't want Proposition 8 to pass? What about their values, Mr. Brian Brown? Are their values any less important than your own? I don't think so, you pretentious fucker. Judge Walker did the right thing on this, because we're not talking about anything more but equal rights, and that's all it comes down to. In the ruling, Walker questioned the lack of evidence and called one witness unreliable. Gee, I wonder who that could have been. Making clear that Prop 8 defense team did little to prove that the law could be justified. In fact, the judge said that only moral disapproval appeared to motivate the law, rejecting a procreation argument. Thank you, Judge Walker. Someone finally in power who gets this. Again, you do not need a license to fuck. And that's all I really have. And that's it. I'm done. I hope I stated the case out clearly enough for everyone who may have been undecided or just didn't know about the case entirely. Really, this whole issue on gay marriage, I hope it resolves itself quickly. I know it won't, but I really hope that the Prop 8 people do finally get this their battle into the Supreme Court. Because, as I've said before, they have no case. They have no proof. They have no information whatsoever to prove their argument that same-sex marriage is going to harm traditional marriage. Absolutely nothing. And when you get it as high as the Supreme Court, and hopefully the judges involved in the case are going to be able to see the same things that Walker is seeing, and finally put an end to this debate and basically put a ban on banning gay marriage because it's unconstitutional. It just simply is. I dare anyone watching this who thinks I'm wrong to tell me otherwise. Prove me wrong. I dare you. Like I said, that's all I got. This is your overactive gay activist signing out.